going after all these other gods, uh, doing all of the murder, all the various things that we've talked about, because of the sin that entered into the heart of man. The pride, the greed, the rebellion, stubbornness, and because God gave free will. And we now know he gave free will to the angels and free will to us, who we were what? Just a little bit lower than the angels. So, in other words, we're just one step removed, if you can kind of think about it, right? From the angels. The angels maybe were like his first generation creation, right? Of beings. And they had all this power. And because remember, he's making his creation in his image. And then because of Satan, he when he made the next creation, Adam and Eve, he maybe gave them a little less power, because look what Satan did with his power. He chose to disobey and go against God. He also had a free will. So now we can see then, how is it possible that Lucifer, oh Lucifer, how is it that you've fallen so far from heaven? Isaiah says, now we know, right? And so now in the future, when we talk about the antichrist, when we talk about sin and the torment that is to come, looking in the book of Revelation and talking about this relationship with God, we can begin now to really formulate an idea of where this comes from. And also remembering, in other scriptures in the Old Testament, it talks about the sins of the fathers being bestowed to the sins of the generations. Because look at it, we are still, all these many generations from Adam, we're still punishment. We're still under, under this punishment, under this torment, under this strange land. And why is that? Because we continue to go against the commands of God over and over and over. And so those other scriptures, it's getting on now to be an hour and 15 minutes or so. Those other scriptures that I gave you, if you were able to get them, let me give them to you again. They are Amos 3 and 3, Ephesians 5, 11 through 16, 1 John 5 and 21, 1 Peter 4, 17, Galatians 1 and 7, Lamentations 2 and 14, Romans 16 and 17, Colossians 2 and verse 8, Revelation 21 and 8, and 2 Corinthians chapter 6, 16 and 17, verses 16 and 17, 1 Timothy 4 and 1, Jeremiah 23, verses 16 through 22, and 2 Chronicles 7, chapter 7, verse 14, and James 3 and 1, Matthew 18 and verse 6, and those will emphasize the next part of this sin and punishment, even because now we see things dimly. Remember, Adam said he could no longer see as he once saw. And God described him and said that your eyes have been darkened. And we read in a couple of places in Scripture where it says that a person's eyes grow dim, right? The older they get, you think of your eyesight growing dim because you can't see as well, right? That's physically seeing. But also think about it as seeing, right? As in perceiving, right? And we're so many generations out. Imagine uh, Adam and Eve still had a fresh memory, right, of what the garden was like. They knew all of the glory that they were in. Now we're so far removed from them that we no longer have that full knowledge. Remembering that God says, when you see me, talking about in Revelation, when you see me as I am, then you will actually see who you are. Everything will become evident to you. Your eyes will be opened again, right? The veil will be taken off. The scab. Remember, also in Scripture, it talks about people having scabs over their eyes. Well, now we know that in fact, this skin that was put on us has diminished our vision, even in distance. You know, the average person can maybe only see a thousand yards if they have good eyesight, right? Down the road. If they have really poor eyesight, then they probably can't see. You can't even see what's in front of your hand, some people, let alone the fact that we are now in darkness. Darkness as opposed from the glorious light that was found in heaven, and also, or excuse me, in Eden, and also as described as what it will be like in heaven. I hope this Bible study has been uh, somewhat illuminating to you. And I pray that you have an opportunity to read those scriptures and be prepared for the next portion of how we see when God is asking us to come out of the church age that we're in, come out of it, come away from Babylon, get out of Babylon, stop returning to the sin. Um, don't follow after the Antichrist, and he gives us more explanation of what Antichrist behavior is, more explanation of how the church has become um, something that is an abomination to him, because it has gone again so far away from what he originally established. And you will see that ultimately, in the end, as in the book of Revelation, uh, all false teachers, all false doctrines will have to give an account to the Most High God. Everyone will have to meet the Lord. And as the scripture says, every knee shall bow and every tongue shall confess that Jesus, Yeshua HaMashiach, is Lord. Even those people who get cast into the lake of fire. As you remember the reading where the king is cast into the lake of fire, and he's looking up from the lake of fire, and he's even worshiping God from there. He's recognizing you are God. But his choice was already made. And folks, all who are listening, I want all of us to be in that heavenly great city that comes down from heaven and dwells with us once again in that glorious Eden, full of light and wonder and worship. But we have to make the choice. And as you read those scriptures throughout the week, and when we meet here again next week, um, we will be able to discuss how do we further establish our worship with the true Most High God, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And until then, may God add blessing to the readers and the doers of his word. May God make his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you and give you peace.